So you think the real truth was that he actually was the Son of God?
Yes.
It'd be amazing if it was true.
It is amazing.
I believe you. I believe that you believe that.
Would you like to be introduced to Jesus?
Come on, Kid Rock.
Listen,
So this is Ruslan, and he is, for whatever reason, is obsessed with wanting Joe Rogan to become a Christian. And he keeps on just looking at these videos and just pulling out anything to be like, see, he's a Christian, or he's becoming a Christian. He's so close, And this video, I think, kind of gives him a little bit of a reality check. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into it. I'm Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. So this is Ruslan, and like I said, he's really into checking on Joe Rogan's faith and really wants him to be a Christian and everything. And Joe Rogan, I guess, just had Kid Rock on the show. And so he's, in Kid Rock, just talking about Christianity, and it gets really funny really fast. So we're going to get into it. Here we go. Let me just
Saw that
do a bunch of things just using his brain now. So it's working.
That happened? That they executed that fully?
I guess we're talking about Neuralink right at the beginning. I'm kind of skipping ahead, but a little bit.
We got to look that up afterwards.
Dude, like me and George Washington, boys. Like, we'd be like golfing like me and Trump, like hanging out. Like, I have a lot of questions.
If you go,
I love the chipmunk filter, whatever the fuck they've got on his voice. It's like they're speeding it up, and it makes Kid Rock's face match his voice a lot more. That's all I'm saying.
One place, where would you go if you had one shot? You can go back in time once and survive and come back to the future.
Such a good question.
Jesus.
What if there was nobody there?
Even better. I get all myself, just me and Jesus.
No.
Are you fucking what? God, it's like, oh yeah, nobody's there. That's what he was referring to. Jeez Louise. Like, he's like, nobody's there. I get my own Jesus. This is incredible. All to myself. We can have we can go do a picnic. We'll put out a blanket, lay down, maybe pick some flower, maybe blow the dandelions together. Like, what? It's so weird. It's like, no, man. I'm saying, like, if Jesus wasn't there, genius, what the
what if Jesus wasn't there? So if you go back and I just want to go see Jesus. You're like, okay, what time?
He'd be there. He'd probably like a DJ back then, cutting it up.
What? Hold on. What? They got to be high. That's too much Bud Light.
Dude, no. Everybody knows that Jesus was a DJ. That's just, dude. You need to Ruslan needs to check on his history scholarship a bit more when it comes to Jesus. He needs to check on the Bible scholars. Everybody knows that Jesus was a DJ, man. And he was cutting that shit up. It was awesome back then. It was just him doing this, on a piece of wood, I guess. But people loved it.
3 hours and 21 minutes into a
He'll
podcast.
be cutting it up. He'll be a DJ.
I don't even get the reference.
Oh my!
You don't know what a DJ is? Really? He's like, I don't even know who D and J. Is that Danny, John? What is I don't know who these people are.
Gosh.
Do you think there's a real Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Absolutely. 1000%.
There we go.
Shout out to Kid Rock.
Kid Rock knows his history. That's what's up. Yeah.
What? That's he knows his history. No, he doesn't. With the amount of, people that disagree with the existence of Jesus that are in the respected fields of Bible scholarship and history scholarship. There's, it's really unreasonable to be like, I know Jesus definitely totes existed. Everything was well after the fact. The Gospels didn't even come out until after Paul had written all of his letters to the churches and everything. So I don't know. It just all feels very backwards. You know what I mean? And it was all just Paul using some legend of Jesus. This could be the case. I'm not sure, but it could be Paul just using the legend of Jesus as a means to an end, to kind of make himself the cult leader now, and take up the mantle of the Jesus guy that he keeps on referring to, but seems to know nothing about.
Absolutely, 1000%.
Joe Rogan out here with all these experts, still guessing,
still questioning if Jesus was a real person.
Stupid experts questioning stuff, idiots.
My God,
what makes you convinced?
My faith.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a good answer.
Whoa, hold on. You
What?
got to pull that back.
Wait, what? Hold on. Let me double check something. My faith. So he asked, what made you convinced? And then he says, my faith. Like I feel like this is a perfect example right here of what is wrong with faith. Like, you know how people always try to like flip it and go, oh no, man, I have faith that this chair can hold me up. That's the same thing as faith. I could just fall straight through the molecules, who knows, it's just like phase right fucking through this thing, but I just trust that I'm not going to phase through it every time I sit down, and they're like, that's faith. And it's like, no, it's not, man. And this is why we constantly have to like get them to define what faith is. And it always ends up just being some equivocation from like confidence that something is true based on evidence. Right. But when it's actually applied, it's just them deciding that they're right because they've decided that they're right. That's what it is. I mean, Matt Dillahunty would say it's the excuse you give when you don't have a good reason to think something, which this is a perfect example of that. Right. Because Joe said, what made you convinced? Right. And Kid Rock goes, my faith. What? Because I decided that I'm right about it. What do you mean? What? I just, that's how I know it's true, is because I've decided that it's true. That's it. And that's faith right there. Boom. Open and closed case of like how stupid faith is. And here's a perfect example of it.
That was the longest. That was the longest. Are you playing this in real time? Play this in real time.
And
I
look
want
at
to
his
hear
face too. Look how he's like, all right. You can tell when he kind of goes into this, I can't really push back on this too hard without like alienating 90% of my audience. You know what I mean? So he's just like, that's a good answer. Yeah.
that. Awkward. How long was that silence?
My faith.
I mean, that's a good answer.
He didn't sound like he believed what he just said. I mean, that's a good answer. I said the thing. I hope I hope that didn't come out as sounding like a question.
Bro, that was 6 seconds of complete silence between my faith and that was a good answer.
That was like one of those
Because it's not a good answer, man. That's why.
like
Oh my
hostage
gosh.
negotiator techniques where you just like say your answer and say it sales. You just stare them down.
Just stare.
To be fair, that seems like that's every guest relationship with Joe. It's a hostage situation. It's like, you better nod along to my insanity or you're going to lose 90% of your audience with one, like, I'm not convinced. So just agree with me right now. Do it. Say it's a good answer. Do it. Say it. Do it. You're a hostage.
Stare them down.
Like, wait for their answer. My faith.
That was amazing.
The cutting back.
Yeah, shout out to Jamie on that one. You the real MVP for that.
I gotta imagine that at a
Who's
certain
Jamie?
point in time.
So Jamie like worked the cameras or something? I don't watch this show. I don't know. Seems God, it's just so boring. I've watched a couple of them and I'm just like, really? People watch this? But this is 3 hours long. Who the fuck's what? Really? Jesus. Half the time they're just talking about what they ate. It's like, I got a cool new car and stuff. Like, okay, like it's just okay. Like, watch the beginning of the Cat Williams one, and they were just talking about how great their cars are or whatever. Like how much. Anyway, this is like, this is really boring. Let me get to some of these comments since everybody showed up immediately. Oh, and Ember wins. That's first time winning it. What usually it's actually before we started making it a competition, Ember always won. But you're back to the top, back to holding the title now. What's up? Yo. And say, Ember, hey. We go down to some of the comments. All right, here we go. Michael said, make it bigger again. Michael said, I might need to leave early. I have an interview with Recovering from Religion Foundation. No, you don't get to. You gotta call and cancel. All right, no. I don't know what you think this is, but you can't leave. I don't like we. Who else is gonna watch and comment? No, it's cool, man. Tell them I said hey over there. We love those folks over at Recovering from Religion. It's awesome. Hell yeah. Let's see what we got here. Lynn said, "Hey, Lynn, how we doing?" Lynn is, I remember. Yeah, Lynn is a little ADHD. Cool. I remember your comment. Wasn't Jesus a spoken word poet? Dude, I think so, right? Or something along those lines, right? I almost think that he was like he was like one of the first people to do sleight of hand, and it just blew everybody's fucking minds, and they're like, this guy must be God, It's like really just, he's like, pick a card, any kind, They're all these like misshapen pieces of like parchment or whatever. You go pick a piece of parchment, any piece. I'll know exactly what's on it. It's going to be amazing. They don't realize they're marked, stuff like that. Michael said, 1,000%. I do, I actually, the pet peeve, I know I'm being petty. Like, I know what people mean when they say that, but you're just like, wow, you can't even math right. You can't even math right. Okay. You know what 1,000% is? Like, it's, never mind. You know what? I'm not going to do it. But that's not what you mean. Blaster Master. Hey, what's up, Blaster Master? Good morning to you as well. Thanks. Said, in my honest opinion, faith is the off switch for the human brain. Dude, that's a great that's a great way to say that, actually, because it absolutely is. It's like what is Forrest Valkai calls them thought stoppers. I like that. Thought stoppers. It's like, oh, God did it. Boom, stop thinking. Well, why is it like that? Because God, stop thinking. You don't need to think any further. Just decide that it's this and just be done. Be done. Don't reevaluate your epistemology ever. Don't do it. Let's see. Listen, my faith. I started pretending. My faith equals I started pretending. Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to act like I'm right. That's why I just always say that. I'm just deciding I'm right about this. So, and you're like, well, how do you know that you're right? Because I have decided that I'm right about this. I thought, did you not understand what I was saying earlier? I'm definitely right because I decided that I am. Right? See, that's good. That's funny. That's great. That's funny. It is funny. Right? I laughed out loud myself when I heard that for the first time because it's funny. Had a rule in Asteroid said, Jess, hey, what's up? So congrats and good luck. Happy to have new folks on the team. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely say. And I'm actually going to be having Helen on the show pretty soon so that we can talk about recovering from religion. They're doing an event coming up soon, and we're gonna talk all about it. So it's gonna be cool. Looking forward to it. Let's see. Oh, Emma said, "Hey, Michael," and then said, "Coincidentally, I'm doing our no shit. Wow, they do 2 in the same day. Wow, working overtime. Wow, that's very cool. Yeah, it's a great channel over there. If you haven't checked it out, maybe Andrea can get that in the comments there. We can talk about, or we can put a link to it so we all know what we're talking about here. Oh yeah, Ellen is also. She goes by Hell's Bells, which I fucking love. It's like the perfect like recovering from religion atheist name for a person named Helen. It's just excellent.
Time in history, they probably didn't tell the truth about a lot of things, and we take
That was amazing.
The cutting back.
Yeah, shout out to Jamie on that one. You're the real MVP for that.
I gotta imagine that at a certain point in time in history, they probably didn't tell the truth about a lot of things, and we take those things, tell them through oral traditions, have them written down.
Well, let me just because it's not even necessarily that they're not telling the truth about things, right? It's that they were convinced of things because they didn't have good reasoning skills, or an understanding of how the world works just on a fundamental level. So many of their answers are wrong. So many of the conclusions that they came to back then about things are wrong. I mean, if even if you did, let's just say that like there was some dude back in time, he did miracles. He walked on water, and maybe he did. We'll just say he did come back to life, right? Let's say he did die and came back to life, right? And they go, okay, all those things are true. Therefore, he must be God. He must be the thing that created the universe, And it's like, how do you know that? But what if his mom was a witch? How do you know his mom didn't have magical powers, right? And she really, she didn't want him to die like that, so she magically brought him back to life. And then she was helping with the miracles and stuff. She was always right there. You know, he just got the attention, but she was doing all the magic. How do you know that's not the case? There's so many other, like, what if Jesus was an alien? You know, he's just an alien wearing a skin suit, you know, doing magic, you know, just having fun with the people that don't know about anything on this planet, just, you know, using technology to mess with us and everything. Like, there's so many possible explanations that are more likely than that, you know, than it actually being God, you know. This is funny.
Difference between lies and between the truth getting, you know, manipulated and twisted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The underlying usually is still there.
So you think the real truth was that he actually was the Son of God?
Yes,
It'd be amazing if it was true.
it is amazing.
I believe you. I believe that you believe that.
Would you like to be introduced to Jesus?
Come on, Kid Rock.
Listen,
Let's go. Let's go. We gonna take him through the Lord's Prayer.
He's like a little kid in a candy store. Look at this guy, man. He's like, oh boy, we're gonna get Joe Rogan saved. Oh my God. And he's gonna be totes exactly my version of Christianity too, clearly, because I've got the right kind. You know, I got the right kind. And me and Kid Rock, we're like this as far as our Christianity goes. And you know, we're all just gonna be in a big club together, all this born again Christians all believe in the same stuff. It's gonna be awesome.
Crazy. Do you
Let's
think Kid Rock
go.
watches the channel? He's like, I need to represent for Ruslan. Ruslan
I
man,
doubt
got
it.
this whole playlist. And he's like, I need to.
doubt it.
Ruslan literally has a playlist that is Joe Rogan's becoming a Christian or whatever, you know.
This is the only Christian that's trying to close Joe Rogan.
listen, I think the concept of Jesus is absolutely amazing. And if Jesus came here and wanted to visit me, I would be psyched.
Would you like to know Jesus?
In what way?
I can put my pastor on your show.
I'm good.
Boo, Joe!
She's great.
That was a little more confirmation than we've ever needed.
Yeah. Dang it. That answers
A lot of things, huh?
questions.
It's like, no, I'm good. No. Because again, Joe doesn't actually do any. All of this is just nodding along to people that believe things, that he can't really, he doesn't want to push too hard back, push back on it too hard because, atheism tends to not be very popular. You know what I mean? People, as far as like just a guy with the platform this size, he can't let that shit on. Right. But he's also not just going to be like, yeah, totes, bring your fucking pastor on my show. Right. Yeah, no problem. That'd be great.
Dang it, Joe. Joe, you were so close. I wonder who his pastor is. We should see if we could do some research on that.
We'll have Kid Rock's pastor on our show.
I would love that. Kid Rock. Hey, Kid Rock, Mr. Rock. Tap in, bro. I'd love to have you and your pastor on. That'd be amazing.
Mr. Rock. First of all, it sounds like you're talking about a wrestler that's actually in a ton of movies lately. Just saying Mr. Rock. I'm just saying, where does your mind go to? Fucking Kid Rock being politely addressing Kid Rock, or the guy with the fucking eyebrows they flip around and all that shit.
Amazing.
Mr. Paula White. She's
very-
Trump's spiritual advisor too. We should have her on the show.
Hold on,
Pastor
hold on.
Paula White.
No, I hope that is not his pastor. Please, no.
And reality check. The reality sunk in. Look at this. Oh shit. Oh, that's right. I think Christians are stupid too, as long as they're not my kind. Especially if they're screaming and yelling and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike while some guy just like moseys behind her with papers, just like acting like nothing's going on. She's just sitting there and strike and strike and strike. This guy's like, can you excuse? I'm trying to get to the. Can you? All right, I'm just gonna walk around.
Twist. Listen,
Do you know who that is?
I do know who that is.
That's her.
No.
She's the one too. I don't know if you remember this whole thing that happened with Jerry Falwell Jr. He had like this whole scandal, right? Where the pool boy was fucking his wife and he liked to watch, right? And the pool boy like came out and said like, here's all the stuff that happened. They made a documentary about it on something. And now I can't think of what it was. If anybody knows what documentary I'm talking about, it was really interesting. But and he was saying, the pool boy, he was like, all these people are so different when you get them behind closed doors. And he said that Paula White, she was all over him. She was like rubbing his leg and stuff like that, like clearly hitting on him, inviting him back for drinks and stuff. Like he's like, these people are freaks. This is all just an act. And so it's just kind of funny.
She's pretty deep in some of the prosperity stuff, from my understanding. This is the plot.
Worse than that.
First of all, the fact
She's
that
like a Trump prophet, dude. She's like in league with, you know, Hank Kuhneman and shit like that. Like she's that level of insanity, you know.
Kid Rock brought this up is definitely a plot twist. The fact that then he brings this
Plot twist is a polite way of saying, fucking, I can't believe it, man. That's not this is not the direction I wanted it to go. Okay.
up and says this is his pastor, this took a different turn.
Yeah, maybe that was God's provision.
Maybe that was God's
Oh my
provision to be
God.
like,
To on Joe
not-
Rogan, be like, "Not turn this down." He hardened his heart for a moment.
Oh my good
Maybe
God.
God hardened Joe Rogan's heart the same way he did Pharaoh, so that he could later open up something
Yo!
like next time Ruslan's there. I can introduce.
Oh my God, these people are incapable of critical thought whatsoever. They're just like, maybe I'm still right. Maybe God's doing a thing. Maybe it's, you know, you don't know mysterious ways and all that stuff.
Just introduce you to Jesus, and then it's like Pastor Jeff Morris.
All right. Javier goes, play
Jeff Moore, I
5
don't
more
know who that is.
seconds. It gets worse. Oh no! No!
Somebody's messaging him like it gets worse, buddy. Just strap in. Strap in, your strap on, and I mean, hold on. Well, if you want to strap on, before we go any further, go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, free shipping on the whole order. And you know, the packaging is discreet and they got tons of good stuff, lots of strap-ons. Just saying, you know, do you want to strap on and strap in? adamandeve.com is the place to go. Enter that code word Brentley, that's Brently at checkout to get your exclusive offer. All right, back to the fun. Also, if you want to like and subscribe, it's just right down here. Looks like a thumb thingy. It's like right. Yeah, yeah, you got it. Perfect. And thank you. All right, got 2 so far. That's great. All right, back to the fun. Or the sure, yeah, fun, whatever.
This is bad.
Watching Kid Rock just be an idiot for a couple minutes straight is great.
Very interested in the idea of Jesus being a real person,
Amen.
but I look at it the same way I look at everything else. Whereas, like,
Let's circle
what
back.
the words
Let's
are.
circle back. You told me that you believed in Bigfoot.
No, no, no,
Wow.
joke.
Oh, that's silly. That's
It's a joke,
silly.
But I
You know,
wanted-
it's silly to believe that there's just some kind of animal that we haven't discovered yet. But it's not silly to believe that there's an undead carpenter ghost that lives inside of this guy that he pretends to cannibalize, because he was very clear about asking people to pretend to cannibalize him, because that's just what gods do, I guess. But that's all normal. That's fine. You know, believing that, that's great. But, you know, Bigfoot, now that's stupid. Jesus, these people. It's so funny because it's like the fact that it's normalized makes him think that it's like so much more reasonable to believe in this carpenter guy that literally came back from the dead, walked on water, did all this impossible stuff, right? And that he is actually the like God in the flesh. That's reasonable to believe. But Bigfoot, that's just crazy. Some type of animal that we haven't discovered yet. But yeah, that's no.
I want Bigfoot to be real for sure. Just like I
Unreal.
want Jesus to be real.
He is?
Well, the thing Bigfoot used to be real. The thing that I found out when I really got fascinated by Bigfoot.
You know how you know Jesus is real?
Jesus, he said Bigfoot used to be real. I don't know if he's talking about evolution, but I guess that could possibly be where he's going. I don't know.
Right in this moment?
How?
Because the forgiveness that I am exercising by drinking this Bud Light right now.
Hey, you know what?
Hold on.
He had to address it. He's like, I got to find a cute way to bring up that I do, and that I am currently actually drinking the type of beer that I shot with an AR-15. Yeah, it's as a, you know, telling everybody how stupid and terrible Bud Light is, but I'd still drink it because I gotta forgive. I gotta have the Lord Jesus Christ's forgiveness. Okay, and it's really, you know, this is how we know Jesus is real, because I still drink the beer that was advertised to a trans person and we all fucking freaked out about.
That made no sense. Oh, no.
Kid Rock.
In a hillbilly way.
That's what doesn't make sense here. Just that one part doesn't make sense to these people.
Kid
That's
Rock.
not the worst. That's
Kid-
not the worst way to
Kid Rock.
exemplify forgiveness.
No.
It's very hillbilly way.
No.
This guy's like, just, he cannot criticize anything. Like, he just has to be like, that's great. That's great, man. Maybe the Pharaoh is like hardened God's heart when he takes up with him. It's great. It's great. There's mysterious ways. Okay.
No. Kid Rock shot Bud Light cans
Mhm.
with a machine gun.
Is that legal?
Maybe it wasn't a machine gun.
No,
Is it legal? We live in America, dude. Where are you at?
It was a machine gun.
It definitely was not a legal.
Because of Dylan Mulvaney, which, you know what? Listen, if I drank Bud Light and they did that, I would be offended too as a Bud Light fan. But
Because you can't have the brand of beer you like to drink, marketed to anybody that's not your religion or doesn't live in accordance to your religion. Like that just means that the whole damn, it's so fucking petty.
to
It's stupid.
say that we know Jesus is real.
Hey, man.
To say we know Jesus is real because I am exhibiting forgiveness for Bud Light.
And what's your reason, huh? Because you were totally fine earlier with him saying, like, what made you convinced? And he's like, my faith made me convinced. Me deciding that it's right made me convinced. And they were like, cool, that's a great way to think about stuff. That is some good thinking right there.
That might work on like Theo Vaughn. It's a little bit of like a hillbilly analogy. I like it.
That might be the most
A little bit like a hillbilly.
redneck thing I've ever heard anyone say. Wow.
Redneck youth pastor.
Oh my God. All right, let's get to some of these. I'm sure we have tons to say now. Now that I've gotten through the important portion, now we can just let's talk about this. Let's Joe Rogan is neither a Christian nor a non-Christian. Discuss, All right, here we go. Man, I've been going for a while. Oh, thank you. Okay, so Andrea did do it. All right. She was here. Thank you. All right, I wasn't sure. I hadn't seen her in the chat yet. Awesome. Thank you. So there's RFR. The best mods ever. All right. Here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm caught up. That's right. That's where we were, right? All right, cool. There we go. There's the channel. Oh, worm food. Those are little worms. Those are little worms. That means worm food is here too. So, hey, worm food. Hey, those are the things that eat you. Apparently, I don't know why you're so into like showing everybody like what eats you. That's kind of sorry, man. I don't feel. It feels like a weird kink. That's precept. Amber said, yeah, that's presuppositionalist is just deciding. you just decide that you're right about all your stuff, and then you just bend reality to line up with like you have this that you decide is real, which is Christianity is true and your interpretation of it and everything like that, and then you just start from that and then just work backwards. Everything else and if anything doesn't go perfectly in line with that, throw it out. It's a lie. It's the pit. It's Satan, just trying to make just trying to convince you that lies are there. Almost like Descartes, that demon or whatever. He said Descartes said that he lives life acting like a demon is trying to lie to or trying to trick him all the time. Some magical demon, and that's what precepts do, right? It's just my thing's true, and then anything that doesn't line up with that is a demon just bending reality to make it look like it's what presuppositionalism, fun stuff. Star Song said, "Oh no, I'm late." Hello, all. Oh, it's all right. Yeah, we're all here. It's okay. We haven't really said anything yet. It's not. Do we ever really say anything? I don't. No. That's obvious. Michael said, "Oral traditions, a term to lend credence to ancient gossip." Yeah, seriously. That's when they say oral traditions. It's like, yeah, a bunch of people said this back then. Nobody wrote stuff down, or anything like that. And it wasn't really like even talked about by historians other than to mention that people believed it, or just acknowledging it as an oral tradition. But yeah, that's it. That's the best we got, for Jesus's entire existence, basically. Worm Food said, oral traditions are very important in preserving culture, myth, and historical medicine, etc. Yeah, I'm not really too familiar, honestly, with oral traditions and how they function. I imagine that there's a lot that goes into it as far as like but I feel like you'd have to have extra stuff though. You'd have to have like evidence outside of all those things, right? Just people saying stuff just doesn't feel like enough, right? I mean, look at today's day and age. Look how much stupid shit we say today. Look at all the people that go on Joe Rogan's show, all saying stuff. And we're, all saying things that 90% of the time don't make any sense, but a lot of people believe it. Now go back in time to a time where there isn't like any way to check if these claims are true or not. And think about how the claims might be exaggerated back then, right? Yeah, it's not looking good for oral traditions. You know what I'm saying? Other than, some oral traditions that you might do using the products from adamandeve.com. Okay. That kind of oral tradition is something I can get behind. You know what I mean? There we go. Yeah. See, get some oral traditions going. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's see here. So where are we at? Damn, it keeps on. Oh. Michael said, do we really need to preserve myths? No, I don't think so. I'd rather we don't. But I mean, or if they're like labeled myths and, seen as such and treated as such, the problem is we treat them like the reality, or just like, I mean, people get mad. People get mad when you say that, like, the Exodus story in Genesis or in Exodus or whatever is a myth. They get angry about that. That's the problem with this kind of stuff. Is they get mad if you say it's not a myth. Like, no, that's history. Okay, well, what historical evidence is there? Well, it's in the Bible. Yeah, the book also has the talking donkey and the woman made of a rib talking to a talking snake and shit. I don't think and that's just a chapter away, okay, or just a book away, right? And just the previous book, they're talking about talking snakes. And even within that story, they have water just being split, just being able to make a pathway through fucking water. You got that going. And then you have like staffs that turn into snakes. You got all sorts of stupid shit, right, in this story. And they're like, but it's got to be historical. Because what did they base this story on? Just things people said, man. Nothing reasonable to believe. That's for sure. And she said, one of these times when you haven't seen me comment in the chat yet, and you call me out, I'm going to actually not be here. I don't. I just always assume, I'm like, well, she's here somewhere, and if anything, I figure that I'll ESP real hard and she'll feel the force, Andrew will be like, somebody's calling. I feel a disturbance. That's but thank you so much, Andrew, for being here. So helpful. I love it. Wormfood said, ask Native Americans about Jesus. What do they think of Jesus? I don't know. They're probably like, oh, that stupid myth, that all these people brought over to our land before they slaughtered a bunch of people and got us all sick and shit. Yeah. Michael said, I don't hear a lot about Zeus. I know. See, there's a myth that people treat as if it is actually a myth, But I bet you if you go back to Greece, back, just a couple hundred years, they'd all be talking about it. Or maybe, I don't know, 100 years, a couple of hundred, maybe a couple thousand. I don't know. When were people treating Greek mythology or Greek mythology like it was true? I don't know. But back then they probably say that's history, right? Well, that was just back in history. It was when, Zeus came down from the cloud, had sex with some women, right? And then Hercules was born, right? And then he had to take out a snake that kept splitting heads and shit, and he just kept growing different heads. It was awesome. It's crazy. Totally real, though. Totally real. And don't you dare call it a myth, okay? Because that's history. Let's see here. Star Song said, my theology can tell you a lot about the culture that created the myth. That's true. That is true. That's probably the best, kind of the best use you can get out of these things, right? It's just sort of like knowing what was going on at that time and kind of using these stories to kind of see what was going on in the noggins of the people back then. You know what I mean? It's a good point. Michael said, when treated as myths, Right. Okay. Okay. So I don't. Yeah. Whenever they're treated as myths, that's when it can be useful. Right. Exactly. Or when treated as art, which I do agree with that because, we've got. I mean, if you go back, it's like most of the art is created by people that were believing in silly stuff. But what else were they supposed to believe in? They're creatives. So the myths just went right along with what they were already just, what was bouncing around in their minds. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's dangerous. You're very like how it's just like very disjointed. Okay, it's like every 3 comments is another portion of your sentence. No, sorry. Amazingly, I'm able to follow along, so we're good. But you can put all this in one sentence. It's cool. I get it. Jess said, so no free will. I mean, look, it's so funny how this stuff comes up so often. These people that get so angry about free will will at the same time sit there and say that there isn't, that God, decides everything and you can't, and point to the book that literally says that. Like the same book that Calvinists use, like in Romans chapter 9, to be like, we don't decide shit. You only love Jesus because Jesus loved you first and then decided that you're going to love him back. And that's in the Bible. The people, the Arminians or whatever that disagree with that, they don't have much of a leg to stand on because Calvinists have kind of just given this a lot of thought, about how we choose things and stuff like that and taking these Bible verses. And it makes a hell of a lot more sense to think that God made everybody and already knows what they're all going to do and made them to do those things, but just not realize it. That's Calvinism. He made some people to go to hell, but they don't know that. They think they're making their own decisions, but they're not, because even if God just knows what you're going to choose, then you could not choose otherwise, which means you don't have a choice. It's that simple. There we go. No free will. Yeah, see, what is it? The top tester. Nice. Okay. I didn't realize we got the top tester here. But the other time it was like mid. We had like some mid, the amateurs. They're amateur testers, and they just weren't that good. They're kind of like the people that do the experience for all that pseudo science, like supplements and stuff, where they're just pee hacking the hell out of it, just pulling out like out of 10,000 experiments. They just take like the 100 that went well all in a row, and they're like, this is, 70% effective because they were amateur testers, not like you, the top kind. All right. Michael said, quarter flash, harden your heart. Yeah, I know. This is like the answer. It's funny too that they bring that up a lot. I feel like the whole God hardened their heart thing like works against their narrative, doesn't it? Like, God's not supposed to do that, right? Like, and it's funny because it's like clearly the translation got fucked up at some point, right? Because it's Pharaoh hardened his heart, Pharaoh hardened his heart, Pharaoh hardened his heart, and then all of a sudden it's like God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And it was like, why? It's like clearly something got messed up there because it's like, I don't think that they meant to have it switch. And God was like, oh, he's actually going to do it now? God was like, oh, fuck, that messes up my whole thing. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to harden his heart and then we can kill his kids and everything. I just wanted to kill his kids. What? Okay. We need all the firstborn gone, man. I had this planned since the beginning and now he's just going along with what nope. No, sir, read Bob. All right. Boom, hardened his heart. Now we can move on. Star Song said, that's why fundamentalist religion is dangerous. They take myths for the true verified facts. They take myths for true verified facts. Got it. When it's convenient to their narrative. Yeah, which is all the time, it seems. Just like they can just decide that everything is just a lie if it's not what they think. It's just like cynical, and it's just all this like what is it called? Wishful thinking, just run amok. It's wishful thinking, and then whatever I don't wish to be true isn't, and that's it. That's how all this works. And if you notice, that's why conservatives are so easy to lie to. Just tell them what they want to hear, and they're like, yeah, then that's true, totally, yeah. It's like crazy. Reminds me of that Derek Chauvin case or whatever with somebody was talking to me the other day saying that there was some new video, right? And it was a freeze frame from a new video of the George Floyd incident, where he was murdered by this police officer. And it was like his knee was like kind of not on his neck for a second. And they're like, this video cancels out all the other videos. See, there's an agenda there, and they're lying. It's like, dude, wow, dude, you just really don't want this to be true, so much so that you're denying video evidence that they had just sitting there like, well, those videos don't count because they were taken by people that weren't police. I'm only going by the police video. So, and it's just like, wow, wishful thinking run a fucking muck, or being blinded by hate. One of the two. But I guess those can be basically one and the same, really. Jess said, oh, I'll harden it all right. And if you want it hardened all right, just go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley at checkout, 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, free shipping on the whole order. I can't get that high. I can't go that. But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the little plug. For the little butt plug. Yeah, sure, butt plug. Jesus, where's okay, there we go. Word Food said, not always. Most myths and legends and fairy tales are anything from entertaining to beneficial. You can't just lump folk traditions with religions or with orthodoxy, heresy, and stuff. Some myths are true. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we probably shouldn't paint with a broad brush on this sort of thing, which is, it's a good point. You don't want to put them all together, right? I mean, and there's always like some level of, is this reasonable to believe based on evidence? That's what we should base it on, not anything else. But sometimes they're just fun stories, like the person in the back seat with the hatchet, and then the guy at the gas station's trying to warn you, but he's got a stutter and you can't make it, so you're getting all scared of the stutter guy. And the stutter guy was just trying to tell you that there's somebody in your back seat, and then you drive away and it gets you with a hatchet, Maybe that's true. I don't know. Could be true, but probably not the true story. But the lesson from that story, the moral of the story is always check your back seat. That's Michael said, the biblical free will doesn't exist if there's an omni deity. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That was kind of my point. Yeah. It's like him being in control of everything, and being in control and already knowing what you were going to think and already made everything so that it would work the way that everything works means that you could not have chosen otherwise. It's just a fact. Like, you can't get around it. That's why, like, if you look at, like, who was it? Stephen Hawking. I just read one of his books. It was like Short Answers to Big Questions by Stephen Hawking. And, one of the things he said, he was like, he doesn't believe or didn't believe in God, right? But he would use God just to mean all the natural laws of the universe, forcing matter and energy and stuff to function the way it had to function, right? Because again, it's deterministic. Like, he believed in determinism. Everything is governed by the laws of the universe, and it could not work any other way, right? And he would call that God sometimes, but it was like this pantheistic kind of view. But he was very clear about, like, I'm just using God the same way that Einstein did, which was this pantheistic kind of understanding that just the universe and the way it works is God, which, it's kind of defining God into existence, but not really meaning what anybody else would mean when they say God. Anyway, I believe you believe. Worm Food's a believer now, everybody. See, you got him on record. So, all right. I don't know why you're on this channel, buddy. Okay, because this channel is not about that sort of thing. If you want to believe, go check out Ruslan's channel. Check out this dude. You're gonna love it. Worm Food. Bigfoot is out. Oh, okay. And I'm sorry. No, never mind. All that. I didn't read the second half of the sentence because everybody's cutting up their comments in like multiple phrases instead of just a full fucking set. Throwing me off, man. Throwing me off. All right. So clearly, Worm Food was talking about Bigfoot, which is much more reasonable to believe, and all hail Bigfoot. All right. So Michael said, some myths are true. Did you think that through? Okay. Uh-oh. About to have a back and forth here. That's not, I don't think it's going to go well. But yeah, because this is almost like knowledge versus like belief, right? You know, we say like knowledge is a subset of belief, right? And as far as I can tell, knowledge is a belief that happens to be true, right? And the truthfulness is what makes it knowledge instead of a belief. But both of them are beliefs, but the beliefs that are true are knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And this categorically, if you use the word myth, you know, then that kind of means that it's something people believed that isn't true, right? Doesn't that categorically fall under that like umbrella of terms? Like mythology is like things people thought were true, but either are not true or have no good reason to think is true, right? I don't know. Just saying. I think Michael might have a good point, but you know, it could be the case too that like certain things people used to think that we would have called mythology, you know, maybe I don't know. I'm trying to, no, because I feel like no, that's incorrect. If it's a myth, it's got to be, you know, it's not reasonable to believe, or it's just flat out false. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, if somebody disagrees, let me know. Maybe I'm off on this. Let's see. Jess said, how are some myths true? Here we go. See, I told you, you just kicked a fucking can, dude. A can of whoop at, no, that's not worms. Oh, that's a can of worms. And worm food's here. I was just, see, you know, it's a coincidence. See how coincidences work? Jess said, how are some myths true? Could you give an example? Yeah, seriously, can we have, I'm actually curious now for an example of a myth that ended up being true. And if it's the hatchet thing, you know, the hatchet person in the backseat, I get it. I retract everything. Except that would be a legend, right? That's a legend, not a myth. Legends are different. Okay, they function, but I have no idea. I don't know why if they're different or not. Lives in Appalachia. I'm an actual hillbilly. Kid Rock is not. Good point, actually. Yeah, because isn't like where is he from? It's fuck, I always forget. Isn't he from like Detroit or something? Or was it Detroit? I can't remember. Or was that where he was pretending to be? He was from somewhere and then pretending to be from somewhere else. And I can't remember which one it was. But goddamn, he reminds me of like, you know how like all the fun Florida people like have like kind of like, I hate to use it as an example, but me, but more like RM Brown, and we're just kind of like silly fun people. The other 50%, actually more now because of DeSantis, right? You know, probably closer to like 70% of Floridians act just like Kid Rock, dude. Like he just is Florida man, just all the way down, dude. You know, but no, yeah, I know he's a poser. I guess I can't remember because he was like rich, like his parents were rich and everything. Which no shit, of course they were. Have you heard his fucking music? You know, that was like one of those things where if you just throw enough money at some kid that wants to make a song and give them as like infinite times to like keep trying stuff over and over again and having somebody that you pay to be like, okay, this one was not half bad. Let's put this one out. That's Kid Rock, just from, you know, just top to bottom. That's fucking Kid Rock right there. You know, the talentless that have way too much money, you know. Star Silence said, anybody read the old version of Cinderella before Disney put out a sanitized version of it? Dark stuff in there. Yeah, I remember that. That was brutal. There was like the part that freaked me out was there were the stepsisters, right? And they were trying to get this glass slipper on or whatever. And of course it doesn't fit them, you know, and the cartoon has like their feet like bending and go and it shoots the thing off, you know, like, oh, it's cute, you know, their feet are too big. So funny. In the book, they're cutting off their fucking toes. The one, she like takes a file to her heel and is filing her heel down. It's like Freddy Krueger wrote the fucking original. Like, what the hell is happening? It's insane. It was like Saw. It reminds me of Saw, you know, just like chopping up your feet so they can fit in the fucking, so they can fit inside the glass slipper. It's freaky, man. Freaky shit. Let's see. But consider this is here. How's it going? I remember your comment as well. How you doing? Howdy, Phyllis. That's what that sounds like. I don't know if that's the way. I don't think that's the way. Did you say it like that? Howdy, Phyllis. You know, right? It's pretty good. I'm in your head. You don't know it, but now you do. So, no true what? No true hill jack fallacy. That what? You mean no true hillbilly? No, wait. Hill jack. What's hill jack? That might be a fallacy I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm gonna need you to to break that down, okay? Because we need to know exactly what is the fallacy, how does it violate the identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle. Like we need to know the whole thing. All right. So please walk me through this. Worm Food said, word count limits suck. Some myths are true, but constantly change. Get hyperbolized. It's an interesting word. I've never heard of hyperbolized. Or simplified or misremembered. People participating in oral traditions know that you can't treat religion as myth. Huh. Okay, so like myth is more like a big fish kind of situation. Like the dude actually caught a fish, right? But it wasn't the size of Cleveland. You know what I mean? Right? Like that would be like the difference. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm sure people are going to let Worm Food know what they think there, but let's see. Let's see. From Tennessee. Is that what they? Dude, I feel so bad, honestly, for people with that accent, because I've heard, like, I've had friends and stuff that they're like really smart, but like the way they talk, it's just like, and it's sad because like so many people just shut off. Oh, this guy's stupid. Listen to that accent. Tennessee, I don't think is as bad though. I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends, like where how thick it is. But yeah, that's unfortunate. It's not it's not fair. But it's like it's funny too because it's like one of the few impressions I can do where I don't feel like like where I don't feel like I'm gonna fucking be hurting a minority or something like that. But it's like a stupid person. I try to even like get away from doing it as often. I do like a guy I do a Chris Farley. Now I do Chris Farley instead of the whole man. I totally thought that was true, and it wasn't. I try to not do that as much. Now I totally thought it was true and it wasn't. Because I feel like it works still. That's how the Florida dummies talk. Like Chris Farley. But consider this: name one myth that is factually true and not just technically sort of kind of true in one aspect. The hatchet story. No, I don't know. I have like what's this one? My dad caught a fish, right? And he caught, and it was huge, but it and the one lady was like split down the middle. She was like two people coming out, right? It was just like the other half of, she was like twins, but they were joined at the hip, and this giant was 20 feet tall, it was Deep State. Hey, Deep State's here. What's up, man? Hello, everybody. When I and others do go to Huntington Beach to troll Ray Comfort, does anyone want to join? Oh, man. Patreon goal. You know what I'm saying? Like we should, how they did like field trips in grade school or even like church, you do those like field trips for church and you get the church bus and you all just head out, and you got like plans for that week. We need to do a Huntington Beach week because it's going to take us, I think, a week to find him. You know what I mean? And really narrow it down where he's at, where he goes. But I think we can figure out based on the background. We can do a whole like detective thing, like an online detective type of thing, except to figure out where the fuck Ray Comfort is so that we can go harass him, harassing people. I think that's a great idea. Honestly, we could put this together. Patreon goal. Enough people donate, I'll buy the bus. Just saying, and then we can do all sorts of these excursions. It could be fun. Let's see. Look at the tree. Said, I used to live in Clarksville, Tennessee. Oh, nice. Yeah, I have family in not Nashville. What's the other one? The other Ville. I always forget what it's called. Somethingville. It's like not as cool as Nashville. You know what I mean? Jess said, I'd be interested in reading more, but it's not lining up in my brain. Can't say I blame you. It's, you know, it's tough for, you know, when we hear the words like the sentence, some myths are true. You got to be like, okay, what do you mean by myth?
Oh my gosh.
Jesus?
That's Jesus. Jesus is everywhere.
The
He's in
cheeses.
this room. He's in the world. He's in the.
Well, let's
Thing
go
I've
back a
ever
little
heard
bit.
anyone
Let's go
say.
back a bit.
Wow.
Redneck youth pastor.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus?
That's Jesus. Jesus is everywhere. He's in this room. He's in the world. He's in the universe. By the aliens that you want so desperately to be real or have the concept of them being real, that's Jesus.
Mm.
That
Jesus is the aliens. What, man? This is the problem. This is a problem when things making sense not mattering. That was a terrible way to say that. This is the problem with people that refuse to understand logic or critical thinking or anything like that. They refuse to be skeptical at all. This is what ends up happening. Jesus is everywhere, man. He's me forgiving my beer. He's you know, he is the universe. He's this cup of water. He's this coffee in my mug. Jesus is everything. What utility could that possibly serve? Like what would be the point of thinking any of that fucking shit?
that is Jesus.
Carla has a good point. Shout out to Carla in the chat. She says, I think
My
Joe
beer is Jesus.
Rogan declined due to what he is witnessing Kid Rock doing in front of him. I don't want to be too
Ooh.
harsh on Kid Rock.
Ooh,
I love the fact
low dig, man. That was like one of those, like everyone in the room is now dumber having heard your answer. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
that he brought up Jesus. I think that's cool. But dear God, please send us a different messenger on the Rogan in the name of
And this
Jesus.
man said his
See what I'm saying? This is beautiful. They're doing basically what this guy wants. Ruslan started out with high hopes, just a bright-eyed little, just so excited to see Joe Rogan learning about Jesus and coming to the Lord. And then he gets there, and then what Ruslan wants them to talk about, which is Jesus being true and real. You got dummy McIdiot Kid Rock showing up and being like, "Oh no, it's totally true. I can introduce you to my pastor, Paula fucking White." And Ruslan, "Oh man, they're not the right kind of Christian." Shit. There's too many of us. There's too many different kinds. And now it's, we're confusing Joe. We're losing him. He's never going to believe now. If he looks up Paula White and sees that and strike, what's over? It's over. Joe's going to go to hell and it's all going to be Kid Rock's fault. Just for being a bad messenger.
beer is Jesus. He cracked it open and said, "Hear that? That's Jesus." I bet if it was Jordan Peterson saying, "Can I introduce you to my Orthodox?"
I mean, isn't he the living water, right? I mean, technically, beer was made from organic matter that was living, and then it died and fermented and got okay, and then you drink it. But that's, living water. There we go. I fixed it. I made it make sense.
Christian friend to tell you about Jesus, Joe Rogan would have so much respect for him that he'd be like, "Yeah." But when it's Kid Rock, it's like, "Oh, it's the homie now."
Maybe.
What?
The homie's just kind of wilding out.
It would be great to have Jonathan Peugeot on.
As a
Mm.
Christian,
I don't know who Jonathan Peugeot is. Is anybody familiar with him? I don't know.
I have to believe in forgiveness.
Beautiful. Cheers.
I have to. See, this right here, I feel like is a perfect example, too, of the type of, like, the way they think of shit. I have to believe in forgiveness. You have to believe something? That's not how believing things works. Either you believe something or you don't. But this is what ends up happening is they see it as this kind of like this historical truth that is also connected to moral behaviors, right? And things like that. And they put it all together like, well, because I have to believe that Jesus is real or whatever. Otherwise, I won't believe anything's right or wrong. I hear that one all the fucking time. And so that means he's like, and so I have to forgive stuff. I have to believe in forgiveness. And it's like, wow, dude. That's why with Christians, I'm always like, it's hard to tell if they're actually a good person or if they're pretending to be a good person because they think they have to. Otherwise, they'll be tortured for all eternity. Because if it weren't for that, they'd be a bad person. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying, kind of makes you wonder, right?
I never thought I'd have to explain Jesus to drinking a Bud Light, but
You know,
Yeah, it's almost like it's stupid or something, right? You know. Finally used that thing right. Finally, a sound effect that actually. Okay.
Hey, Kid Rock, brother, tap in, man. We gotta talk, bro.
Hey, this man got his own
We gotta talk. brother.
living waters.
Don't use your bedroom voice, okay, man. It's just especially when you're talking about bringing Kid Rock over. It's like, I need to bring Kid Rock over and like have a few words with him. We're just gonna talk. Just gonna talk.
Magazine.
We gotta talk.
This
Man.
man got the
His man,
Just gonna
I love
talk.
it. His man, he might as well be Calvinist with the way he's consuming the brew.
Whoa. Okay, man. Hey, what low dig? All right. Calling him a Calvinist. What? Hey, come on, man. He's a human being. A human being. Don't call him Calvin. That's rude. Come on, man.
Except
Explain it.
they have their own craft beer.
yeah.
every time you look
Calvinists have their own craft beer. Okay. That would make him a little bit cooler if you ask me, but I highly doubt that's true.
at a flower that blooms, or you look at one of your children, you're like, that's Jesus. That is Jesus. That is God.
It got worse and
I
worse.
love
yeah,
his
craft
face. Hold
beer.
on.
Yeah.
Every time you look at a flower that blooms, or you look at one of your children, you're like, that's Jesus. That is Jesus.
Okay. Because I think stuff's pretty. I'm sorry. Now I'm doing it. Now I can't stop. I'm sorry, Top. But just because I think stuff's pretty, that means Jesus. Because I like to look at some stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't like to look at stuff, right? If it weren't for Jesus, I wouldn't like to look. Oh my goodness.
That is God.
ridiculous.
It's got worse and worse as it
Yeah,
went
it's
on.
just getting worse.
It just went worse. I love that their expectations just fell off. Like, what did you expect? It's Kid Rock. What are you doing, man? Why would you think that he's anything other than an idiot?
If I had to steal man, what he was attempting to say is that you see the beauty. When you see beauty and you see goodness, that is actually proof that God is real.
Yeah.
That when you see beauty and goodness in the world, when you see your kids, when you see these things, if I had to steal man, and by the way,
I don't think he knows. Does he know what steel man means? I don't think he's. I think he thinks it means like being charitable to his interpretation. You know what I mean? He thinks that's what it means. That's not what a steel man is, dude. Like a steel man's where you basically explain an argument back to somebody and then have them agree that that argument is in fact their argument, and then you knock that down. That is a steel man. It's not just categorizing what the person just said. That doesn't really sound like an argument at all, other than just just saying that they think something is that Jesus exists because he thinks things are pretty or whatever. But like, are you debating it anyway? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too petty here. I don't know.
we will look at a video later that kind of articulates that.
And if I had to straw man what he was saying,
It's like pantheism.
yeah, it's pantheism. This type of explanation of Jesus to non-Christians is what opens them
I don't think they know. I don't think they know what they're talking about.
up to this idea that like, oh, maybe God just communicated to all different cultures.
It's like, so if I were to misrepresent what he said in order to knock it down, you do it like this, pantheism.
their
don't
own
understand
version that they knew the
talk about.
culture would accept. But so Islam is the way to God, and Christianity is the way to God, and Buddhism is the way to God, and it's all the same thing. All roads lead to heaven.
That's not pantheism. Wow, these people don't know how to characterize anything. That's not pantheism. Pantheism is the universe is God. Everything is God. The light turning green on your way to work, that is God. Like that's, you know what I mean? That's pantheism. What he's describing is the Indiana Jones world or whatever, like the Indiana Jones cinematic universe. It's just all religions are true, so
Like this communication
Sure.
of Christianity doesn't place the dire situation that is
Yes.
accepting the gospel. It
Yes.
makes it be like,
Dire.
oh, okay,
Yes.
my
fair enough.
kids are God.
I just saw shooting stuff.
my kids are God. That's silly. That's stupid. Anyway, but my kids have an undead carpenter ghost living inside them. Now that's what regular normal people think.
Yeah.
How cool is that? That's God going, bang, nailed it.
Joe Rogan's like, it's not God. That's like we programmed that.
Yo, this reminds me of
What was it?
Talladega.
Hold on. What did he say? Bam. Well, hold on. I'm sorry.
Of Christianity doesn't
These guys are talking
place
too much, man.
the dire situation that is
Yes.
accepting the gospel. It
Yes.
makes it be like, oh, okay,
Yes.
my
fair enough.
kids are God.
I just saw a shooting star.
Yeah.
How cool is that? That's God going bang, nailed it.
Okay. A shooting star. So he's like, oh, because of the thing that happens out there and I witnessed it. Therefore, God. Okay.
Joe Rogan's like, it's not God. That's like we programmed that.
Yo,
Program.
this reminds me.
What? Oh, does Joe Rogan believe like we're in the fucking the what is it? Where it's like a simulation or whatever.
Me of Talladega Nights. Pray to be baby Jesus, right? And he's like, yeah, that's who he reminds me of right now.
Mhm.
Is Will
Sort
Ferrell.
of.
What? What the fuck? Like, you're gonna have to get better at like breaking down what you're talking about, man. Because that was just like a reference. Okay,
That's
no,
every 30 seconds. It happens.
I haven't seen one all.
He said that's every 30 seconds that happens.
But that's how confirmation bias happens.
Thank you.
Makes-
All right.
Makes people believe.
Where, Joe? Where are you at with this shit? With literally anything else? Where were you at with this? With fucking the baseball guy, the baseball moron that was just on your show. Where are you at? Where are you at with the critical thinking, man? Holy shit! There's a lot of Joes. Are all of these Kid Rocks or are these Joes? I don't know. Anyway,
believe certain things, like that Jesus sent that stars on a. Maybe you timed it right.
That's
It
Jesus.
could be coincidental.
That's Jesus.
He's saying that's Jesus, and Joe Rogan's like, no, that's been going every 30 seconds, and that's been programmed. And he's like, that's me.
it's
Yeah.
what?
Bummer.
No, man. That he's describing confirmation bias, where you see a pattern. In that case, you don't even see a fucking pattern. You just see a thing, and you're like, then you decide that it's a pattern, and being like, that must have been God showing me that. When it's not anything, it's just shooting stuff, dude. If you sit outside, like, and I do this a lot. Okay, I'm a sky watcher, right? I lay down out back, got this like cool patio thing with like a little fire pit and stuff, and I'll lay down on my back. Got this like blanket for picnic. It's like a picnic blanket that doesn't get dirty, like it's plastic under it. Anyway, I lay that shit down on the patio, lay down, get a pillow, get a blanket, literally outside with the pillow and blanket, and looking up at the stars. I'll do that for hours. I see so many shooting stars. I think I counted the one night. I saw what 20 something, 22 of them in like a 3-hour period. Shitload of shooting stars. You just gotta be looking though. But he's saying because you happen to look right when there is one there and you see it, because they are quick, and they're easy to miss, but you happen to see it, that means that it was God showing you something when, it was, that's a coincidence and you're just prescribing meaning to a coincidence.
This is like negative. This is like 3 steps forward, 2 steps
Mhm.
backwards.
All right. Well, props to Kid Rock for bringing up Jesus.
Well, I guess you can end your playlist now, right? Of Joe Rogan's becoming a Christian, guys. He's doing it. Look at this playlist. Like, if you don't believe that Joe Rogan is like becoming a Christian, then watch this playlist, okay? Because it's proof. I don't know what proof is, but this is it. That's what that is. Nope, man. Nope. He just panders to his audience, man. He just nods along with whoever's in the fucking room with him. I'm actually really surprised he's even pushing back on the fucking shooting star thing. Yeah, no, because you don't hear him bringing up critical. But I almost think that Joe Rogan's getting kind of like dragged because he keeps getting tricked by dumbass shit. This like dumbass, like obviously false shit. And he keeps like thinking that it's, whatever, like true and stuff. And that's just becoming like, a lot of different YouTubers are like, oh, Joe gets tricked again, And so he's kind of pissed about. So now he's got to be like, no, man, I know about this. I gotta have to start pushing back a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna have to start like bringing out like my critical thinking knowledge about confirmation bias, stuff like that. Oh God, it's so funny. All right, let's get to some of these. Are y'all in like a serious like a chat fight about myths being true? So we get to that. People throwing chairs yet? Somebody get thrown out the window of the bar like in the movie, where foods is. All right, let's see here. Okay, Wormfood said, a myth as religion, there isn't the same claims of perfection or total truth. There isn't some Puritanism or supremacy. Okay, so you're just saying that like myth isn't the same as religion? I mean, if that's the point that you were trying to make, then I agree with what you're saying, right? That because you're right, there isn't like this dogmatic, like I got to think this is true, you know, as far as like myths go, typically. Like you're like, yeah, the fish definitely was that big. Okay. It absolutely was that big, maybe even bigger. Okay. I know, and I refuse to question that ever. Okay. No, you don't get that with religion, but you do get that. I mean, but there are myths in religion, right? There are religious myths, right? That's why it's kind of difficult to even really draw that distinction. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Because these myths like get so grand and then they get used by people that are trying to sell a religion or whatever. And they're pointing to things that were myths, like Jesus doing certain things, right? Like Jesus feeding the 5,000 or whatever. Like, just take that. I heard some guy like fed the whole crowd. I'm sorry. I keep doing top. I'm sorry. You messed me up. He's feeding the whole crowd with just a piece of fish and some bread. And everybody's like, did you hear about the guy that fed everybody with just one fish and bread and whatever? Uh, that's a myth, right? But it gets utilized in the religion, right? So I don't know. I see what you're saying, but it still feels like if we're using the word myth, I feel like the implication, just using that word, period, means that it's not true. You could say that all myths are based on some kind of truth, but I feel like that's a different claim than saying some myths are true. But I don't know. This is exactly the type of thing that in the chat you're going to split hairs over. Okay. You're in a room of atheists. We have to split hairs when it comes to this. You know what I mean? Like, fucking some myths aren't true. I will eat your face. Okay. I'll fucking your face is a myth that's true. I'll get you. That's everybody in the chat right now. Let's see. Jess said, to me, a myth specifically has a supernatural claim. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's true. Mythology. Yeah. Because is that the difference between myth and legend? Because legend, I feel like, could be true, right? Or like could be based on something that's true. It's a legend, It's like an actual person, and then all these myths sprang up about, that true person or whatever. You know what I mean? I was going to say like King Arthur, but I think we figured out that he didn't even exist. Am I wrong about that? Where's Ember at? Ember would know about this. Once the oral traditions are passed down from older family members to younger ones, it's the only reason I know anything about my Bay Singer family. Welsh culture. Oh, Welsh culture? Oh, cool. Also was destroyed almost completely, except for oral tradition. Anyway, passed down by cunning folk. Only Christians treat their myth as literal fact. Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're talking about like other kind of, I don't know, like Halloween type of stuff, or right? Like pagan stuff maybe passed down. I don't know. I guess I could see that. But it's just funny because when I hear the word myth, I think not true or something like blown out of proportion or whatever. That's just automatically where my mind goes. It's cool. You say, Wormford, you say you're Welsh. Have you ever heard of Creaky Binders? He's like, well, I was trying I could not figure out what his accent was. And now it turned out he's Welsh. Because I was like, is he Irish? Is he Scottish? Is he like a combination of Irish, Scottish, and English and Australia? I don't know what's happening. And then he said, he was like saying that it was one of his Welsh, the person he was breaking down was also Welsh. And I'm like, there it is, Welsh. All right, he's Welsh. Dude, he's really funny too. It's a really good show. He's pretty punk rock, actually, now that I think about it. I bet you he is a punker, as far as like what he listens to. He definitely looks like a punker, but I bet you he listens to punk. I don't know. I've never heard Welsh punk, but I can imagine it'd be pretty fucking great, Wormfood said, oral traditions passed down. Okay, yeah. Deep State, except for the giant club of born again Christians, will fracture the next time someone sneezes because someone would want to stir up trouble so that they could divide and manipulate. Yeah, dude. Just this is a perfect example of it, right? Like Ruslan was so excited to have Joe Rogan hear about Jesus, because he just wants him so bad to be just like all of a sudden a fucking fundamentalist YouTuber that's spreading the gospel with his mega platform or whatever, right? I think that's why they want this so bad. And it's just like, oh no, he's the type of Christian, the person witnessing to him is like a type of Christian that I think is silly or whatever, it's like, yeah, because Christianity specifically is so divisive. It's unbelievable, man. Everything they do is divisive. It's amazing. Let's see. Hey, Wolfos is here. What's up, dude? I made it. Damn YouTube. Never giving me alerts. Oh, really? Shit. I gotta start. You know what it is? I need to start like doing actual like saving it. You know what I mean? Saving the stream or whatever. Deep State said, and they divide and manipulate because there's always some asshole who wants to become king of the shit pile. Yep. I mean, that's the best way to manipulate, right? Is using these kinds of things. You can always go back in your head and see how this stuff started. Like, where does everything come from, you think? You got this primitive man, don't know nothing, right? Like, where did everything come from, you think? And they're like, I actually know. It's a magical being. He created all this stuff, right? He said, they see all the lightning and thunder. That's him. That's my guy, and just be like, oh, well, this guy knows where everything. Hey, well, you got to do this other stuff if you want like to not get struck by lightning and stuff. So you better start doing what I say. It's so obvious where this came from. It's so clear. I absolutely am running out of time, so I gotta go real quick. I'm gonna try to rifle through these, but I gotta run. Let's see. Top tester said, that's cool. I'm from Polk County. Oh no shit. That's the county that gets that's the county that gets like knocked around, it seems, the most by literally everything. When there's something bad that happens in Florida, I'm just like, I will bet you fucking $20. Yep, Polk County. Boom. Always. It's like a tornado ripped through a fucking ripped through like a what do you call those things? A trailer park, Polk County. If there was flooding or whatever, I don't know, just anything, murder, whatever, Polk County every time. I swear, it's like they're cursed. It's cursed. Star Song said, Wolfus, I have alerts turned on. It shows in my notifications, but the visual indicator doesn't always turn on. Weird. Because that's very important for this show. Because again, I don't really, I'm way too random. I'm too punk rock. That's what that is. It's because I'm so punk that I go randomly. No, I actually just can't plan anything to save my fucking life. But maybe that's the punk rock. It's the correlation, not causation. I don't know. Could be one of those things. Lord said, Lord Dissident. Lord Dissident. That's a cool name. Asked The Walking Dead about Jesus. They were really sad when he was killed by the Whisperers. What? I get to. Oh, is that a Walking Dead reference? Because I have not watched that show yet. It's like 40 episodes a season. I can't, dude. It's like this fucking what is it called? Warner Brothers shows, it's like 70 fucking episodes for one season. I can't, dude. I can't do all that, man. That's just, it's like trying to watch The Flash. You're like, how many episodes are fucking 30? What? And then half the time it's not even about, anyway. So yeah, I haven't watched The Walking Dead yet, but I don't know. If y'all push it enough, I will start. If you're convincing, I will start watching that show. Wormfruit said, all Abrahamic religions do. I'm using Christians to mean all Orthodox religions of the nature, but even other world religions treat myth as historical art. Okay. I mean, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. But I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot of overlap there. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the historical art is also Christian, and that means they would be treating it like it is fact. But I mean, I think I see what you're saying. Deep State said, and I mean, look at a giant troll, the Seven Mountains. Dominionists are literally the harlot is going to be riding the beast whose heads are the seven hills. They want to be the harlot. Holy shit. Okay, so you're talking about like interpretation of the book of Revelation, and you're talking about the seven mountains, which is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about like the fuck, I always forget what it's called. They're like these like I don't know. It's like this thing that I don't know. Telltale always talks about it, and I can't. It's like the name of it is eluding me right now, but it's got something with the Elders of Zion or something like that, and it's like a whole conspiracy thing. But yeah, and you're saying that's the type of stuff that comes out of myths and everything. It's like these interpretations. I don't know. Could be. No, no, you dorks. Okay, now, hey, come on, all right. That's offensive, dorks. Why would you? No, you dorks. Ask the natives if oral traditions and mythology should be preserved. Okay. Yeah, I don't. I don't really know any folks that actually. I don't know if like I don't know that actually believe in like those types of, or are you just saying like just people culturally that are that the Native American? I don't know. The Seven Mountains Dominionists want to be the harlot riding the beast according to the wrong theologies. there's I don't know. Would you say the wrong theologies? It sounds like there's a right one, and I just patently disagree. But but I guess if you're cool with them all being all the wrong ones, then I can get on board. Tradition versus myth. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but traditions are completely different. Like that, you might have traditions that are based in what somebody would say is myth, but traditions have to do with behavior. Or are you just saying like traditional stories that are told? I don't know. So I feel like traditions is just like doing things. We celebrate this, or we celebrate that. Those are like traditions. Like that's the way we celebrate stuff. And like, okay, yeah, that's great. And I guess there could be myths surrounding that stuff, but I feel like all of these things are distinct, right? And they're all individual in their different ways. All right, I'm gonna have to fly down here. I'm sorry. I I really do have to go. I did not realize how late this got real quick here. So Ember said free will is even more insidious. I can offer you a Sex Pistols vinyl or a Shania Twain CD. I know what you'll choose, but it's still your choice. Exactly. That's a perfect example, really, of like how of how making choices and free will and stuff like that is actually not really making choices, because you're already going to choose what you're going to choose regardless of you couldn't go back in time and choose otherwise. I guess there's no way we could know that, right? But I think everybody's going to choose what they're going to choose, regardless. Like, it doesn't matter what reasons they have, they're always going to have those reasons. And it's anyway, it's always based on something, you know what I mean? And it's based on the natural laws of the universe, pushing us in different directions. Star said, my heart was hardened. That's why I had a heart attack. Oh shit. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, that's a good version of a hard heart, Lago said, I'm behind in chat. 1000% drives me crazy too. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. I'm going to try to just go to like one each of comments that I haven't got. Paul, hey, let's see. Said, I'm a little late. Okay, well, I'll do one more of Paul if he says something. Because I got it really. See, Paul, here's a Paul. Paul said, illiterate doomsday preachers everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's where a lot of these myths come from. And that's probably not good. And I don't know if, again, like saying that they're true would be, or could be true, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Andromeda said, hiya, people. Azo's here. What's up, Azo? I'm always late. I will probably be late to my own funeral, which I ain't having. That's probably a good thing. Your funeral, like, don't try to get to that sucker on time, right? Spooky. What's up, Spooky? So can I have your stuff though? Can I? Oh, so Spooky wants your stuff. So you need to put that in the will right now. The lawyer's gonna be like, "Who is Spooky Bedhead? What is? That's not a name. That couldn't be this. This doesn't make any sense. That couldn't possibly be a name. That's who wrote this." Let's see here. Fly down. Sorry, y'all. I got it. All right. Last one is Lloyd Dissident. Look at the Orlando and Angel trumpet trees. They are so beautiful as they kill you. Yeah. And the angel trumpet's gonna make you go a little nuts while you're doing it, just saying. I remember people boiling that shit. And anyway, I'm not gonna go into that, but don't do that. Don't boil that flour, But if you want to have fun doing something else, you can go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley, that's Brently at checkout, and get your exclusive offer. If you want to support the show in some other ways, you can become a patron at patreon.com/punkapostate. I got some stuff I'm actually going to be putting up, I think either today or tomorrow. It's stuff that YouTube took down. That happens a lot. So just throw it up there. It works out. But if you want to just do a one-time payment at Cash App, if you don't want to get into the whole it coming out of your account automatically, which I totally understand because I hate that shit. But it's necessary sometimes. But if you just want to go to Cash App and put in the cash tag Punkapostate, you can give whatever amount. I'm not going to read the name, but I will read the dollar amount and the for section. And if you put down something fun, I'll act it out or do voices or something. We'll figure. I mean, if you put like a little joke or something, I'll act out the joke. You know how I do little bits or whatever. So if you want to do a one-time payment at Cash App, our cash tag is Punkapostate, and and it's any bit helps. Just literally anything. Hopefully I'll make it fun for you if we do the little acting out thing. But main thing though is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time.